Hello, all my Yarnie friends. I'm Sara Sach. Welcome back to my crochet channel, and welcome to Coffee and Crochet Live. Now, we try to do this every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m., and that is Central Time. And before we get started, I do want to say something that I get asked every single week. Are you in Central Time? Yes, Oklahoma is Central Time. And so what you need to do, if you're not sure what time it is in your section of the world, just Google it. Just Google or search, what time is Central Time, 10:30 in my area, and it will tell you. Okay? Well, I got my good old coffee cup here with my Aldi regular coffee. And I am using hazelnut today. Hazelnut sugar-free creamer. Clinkety, clink, clink, clink. And if you don't know what that means, that's just clinking in and tell us where you're from. Where are you from? United States? Canada? Europe? Down under? Don't ever give your address. Just where you're from. You can give your state if you want to, but never, ever, ever give your personal information. Okay? You know, I'm a big person here trying to help you, stay safe. Alrighty, so clinkety, clink, clink, clink. I was starting to panic a while ago because I had a little bit of a cough in my throat and it was so itchy. I said, man, I feel like I swallowed a gnat. And I have been having some trouble with gnats. I bought some potting soil to replant some of my indoor plants into bigger pots. And ever since I did that, we've been having a little bit of a gnat problem. So there must have been some baby gnats in there. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about today. I've got a shout out. I've got a yarn of the week. We've got our giveaway. And I'm super excited about it. It's right down here. I also have some jokes for you that were sent to me. And, some of you messaged me and asked me how my doctor's visit went. Remember I told you I went and got blood work done? It went fantastic. My A1C is down. My cholesterol's down. My weight is down just a smidge. It's better than going up, right? And my blood pressure was perfect. So, yeah, it was a great doctor visit. And I really like my doctor. He's kind of honest and right in your face about it. But I love that. I want someone to tell me the truth. Not to, dance around, not to hurt my feelings. I mean, it's my body and my health. I want to know what's going on, right? Alrighty. So, let's start with the jokes. This is funny. She just sent me this email. She said, I got a couple of these for you. I hope you'll think they're funny. Good luck on the punchlines. Because you know I'm terrible with the punchlines, right? Okay, so I have two, and they go together. The first one says, what did the yarn ball say to the crochet hook on Valentine's Day? He said, I got you under my skein. Isn't that the funniest thing? Because I've got you under my skin. I've got you under my skein. I thought that was so funny. Okay, so then she says back to him, what did the hook say to the ball of yarn? I wrote it. I couldn't read my own handwriting. So what did the crochet hook say back to the ball of yarn? She said, that's good because I'm hooked on you. Isn't that the cutest thing? I'm going to have to save this one. Use it next year again. I love these silly jokes. They're just so funny. And I love it. I love it when they have to do with, yarn balls and crochet hooks and skeins of yarn. And I grew up calling it a skein of yarn. And I didn't know until I was like in my 30s that they were called skeins of yarn. I don't care if they're skeins or skeins. Just play with them. Yarn is awesome. That's great, isn't it? Okay. I'm going to do the shout out next, and then we're going to talk about the giveaway. I'm getting people time to get in here, okay? Because I want everyone to know what it is, because it's really good. And you know what? When someone sends me a joke and I tell it to you, feel free to share it with others, because they're fantastic. All right, now what I've decided to do for 2026 is I'm going back through my list from years ago and checking to see if some of the crochet and craft YouTubers are still out there. And there are some that are still out there working hard like we are. Okay, and so this one is Lisa. Her name is Lisa, and she's Lisa of Happy to Hook YouTube channel. And we talked about her probably 6 years ago, and she's just still out there kicking it and having fun. And I really like her. She, if you remember, I told you she had a really neat sounding, soothing voice. And she does podcasts. And when I listen to her, I always feel really relaxed. And it brings me right into what she's doing. And I really love her. She's really a neat person. She brings a lot of joy and happiness in her YouTube channel. And you know, I love that. I love people who are real and happy and just love what they do. So it's called, her YouTube channel is called Happy to Hook YouTube channel, and her name is Lisa. And I just love her. And so that's what I'm doing for 2026, is I'm going back to my list that I had about 5 or 6 years ago and seeing if they're still out there, because, you know, just like Ella from last week, she got her box this week too. And she opened it right on, well, she didn't open it, but she showed everything that we sent. And that made me feel really good, because I just really like Ella. Her Ella No Catchy Name was last week. So if you didn't go and see her, go see her. And go see Lisa. Tell them both I sent you. Of course, Lisa's link is underneath this video, so you can find her. Or just put in that search, you know, where it looks like a little magnifying glass. Just put in Happy to Hook Crochet Channel, and you'll find her. And I see her all the time. Not in real life. I really wish I could meet her some of these people sometime in real life. That would be amazing. But I see her channel all the time, and I love to just turn it on and listen to her. She just has a neat, really neat, soothing voice. I just love it. Okay, so that's our shout out of the week. Again, her link is underneath this video. And now we're going to talk about the February giveaway. So, in cleaning, remember I cleaned up my whole yarn room. Totally, what I call that? Declutterization. And I love it so much because I have a much smaller room than I had in Colorado. And I feel like after I got everything off the floor and organized, and it's in my closets and up on my counters and stuff, and they're not just thrown up there, they're neatly organized. And I feel like I have so much more room. And so in doing so, I found a lot of things I forgot that I had, including items and crochet or yarn that was donated. And so we're going to do that now. Are you ready to see what the giveaway is? So this month, I'm going to give away this canvas bag. This is also one of the seconds. And you can see right here, the handle on here didn't go all the way. And so, I mean, these are $25 bags when I sold them on eBay. And I didn't sell them on eBay. When I sold them on Etsy. Okay, and so now we're giving them away as our giveaways. And I've had a couple of people ask me if I would sell them to them. And I won't. I just don't feel right about it. I want to just use them for giveaways. Okay, just FYI. All right, so you'll get this canvas bag and this bag of yarn. I forgot I had this. And this is beautiful yarn. Look at that. Now, I looked at it really close because it doesn't say on the bag the weight of the yarn. Okay, it says it's mixed fibers. I thought it had a total weight on here somewhere. Oh, 14 ounces. That's enough to make some really neat things. It's 14 ounces. And this is a DK weight light number 3. But isn't that beautiful yarn? And there's 4 skeins of it. And this bag has not been opened, but once you open it, it has a zip close up here. So you could reuse this bag as well for carrying stuff. Okay? And this was donated. And I'm sorry to say that I can't remember who sent it to me because it's probably been more than 3 years ago. It was packed away. I had a tub full of donated things. and somehow it just got hidden under stuff. So we get a lot of really fun things to give away in the next few months. But I think this is beautiful yarn. Like I said, 14 ounces DK weight. It's, in case you can't see it, it's got royal blue, light blue, gray, and white. It's almost like a long striping yarn. It's not a variegated, and it's not ombre. It's like a long striping yarn. I can really think of some neat things I could come up to make with this. All right, so the February giveaway is 14 ounces of yarn and the Coffee and Crochet canvas bag. This is canvas. Nice sturdy bag. And I'm just going to slide this right inside this bag because it fits perfectly. And the truth is, if you want to use this as your project bag, you could save that plastic bag and it would keep anything from getting inside, because this is canvas. It can get wet. Not that you should be putting coffee in your bag, but you know what I mean. All right, so how can you get involved in the monthly giveaways? So this is the way they work, and I've done it this way for as long as I can remember. So, I thought I had a bug on my lip. I'm paranoid about gnats. Okay, so never, ever, 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 and I say never with a big N-E-V-E-R, put your shipping address, your email address, personal information, phone, any of that stuff. Never, ever put that in a live comment anywhere. Okay, and so what I do is, you have 2 weeks from today. All you have to do is, those of you who have already commented, and I'm pointing over here because I have the second screen on this side, and then I have the live where I can see your chatting and stuff on this side. Okay, and then my other screen's over here. You don't have to do anything. All of you that have already commented, you're already entered into the giveaway. Okay, and this will last for 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, I'll announce who the winner of the giveaway is. All I do is I just grab those names, throw them in the random generator, and whatever name comes up. I check to make sure you haven't won in the last couple years, because I want to make sure I keep it fair, you know, because sometimes it'll keep pulling up the same names. I think it kind of remembers the name, so it thinks that I want that name again or something like that. It's probably an AI thing. I don't know. Anywho, that's the way we do it. And then I'll announce your name, and all you have to do is, my email address is underneath this video. All you have to do is click on that and shoot me an email. That's all you have to do. I will not chase you down because I don't have your information, okay? You have to chase me down, okay? But it's super duper easy. And like I said, even if you're another crochet blogger, you can still enter. That was asked last week, and I forgot about it. And then Ella won, which I was really glad she won because she really needed some yarn. And so, you know, yes, there's plenty there to make a poncho, Judy. It'd be a beautiful poncho. And with it being DK weight, it would be kind of a spring poncho. Really nice. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you, Ellen. Ellen's Crochet popped in. Now, anywho, that's the way the giveaways work. And then I always send it in a priority box. And I know people are always like, why do you do that? That's so expensive. But I feel more confident using that type of shipping than just putting it in a bag and shipping it. And I know it costs a little more, but it's worth it to me to know you're going to get it. And like I said, there's only been 2 times that, well, actually 3 now. I got spammed one time when I was first starting to do this, and the person who said they were that person weren't that person. Learned my lesson on how to do that. The second time, I took it to the post office in Parker, and they put it under the wrong heading. And so it got sent, but it got sent like book rate or something. And so they were asking the person to pay for it. And I said, no. Send it back, and I'll resend it. Okay. And then the other time, there was this little mess-up with the person who gave me their address. They had their numbers backwards. But we got it figured out. The person who got it was able to get it to them. You know, and things like that happen sometimes, but rarely ever has a package not got there. Okay? You're jealous of my yarn? Well, honey, I wish you knew how much I really had. Actually, I did take a lot out. I've got a bunch bagged up, ready to go. And, well, what I was doing when I was cleaning, because, you know, I did a whole big declutterization, as I said. A lot of the really dark colors, the really dark navies and dark greens and things, I went ahead and donated those because they're not, and some of them were a couple of years old, of course, probably 12 years old or 15. And I don't use those really dark colors a lot because you can't see them real well on video. Now, I do use them for other things, like when I'm doing Scrap Happy and stuff like that. But I just felt like I needed to donate some of them. I did give some to Goodwill, and I have another bag full that's going to go. But they're not great yarns. They're not like ones that I would use in a giveaway. They're, you know. But anywho, I found a lot of yarn back here that I didn't realize that I had. And this is what we're going to talk about today for this yarn. And we're going to go right. That was a great lead in. Thank you. All right, let's click over to my other camera here, and I'm going to show you some yarn. In cleaning through, checking to see what I had, I found this yarn that I bought last year. And I bought it from Michael's, and Michael's was having the buy one, get the second one half price. And I saw this yarn. My husband and I were in there on a Sunday afternoon, and I saw this yarn. I thought it was gorgeous, so I bought it. And I had plans to make something with it, and I don't know what it was. I don't know what my plans were. All right, but I had never used any of what they call phasing yarn, and so I had to look it up to see what exactly is phasing yarn. And what it is they take two colors and they blend them into each other. This is called magenta and mandarin. So this is a mandarin orange, and this is a magenta, kind of a rosy pink color. And then as they spin it, it's blended together, and you can see here it goes into the oranges, different colors, and it's light pink in here, and it's really, really beautiful. And like I said, this particular one is called magenta and mandarin. And this yarn is really different. It's very fuzzy. It's absolutely beautiful yarn, and I want to show you. It is a bulky 5. And so they recommend you use a 6mm crochet hook. And this has 8 ounces on it. And the blend is 71% acrylic, 18% nylon, and 11% polyester. And so you're getting like the fuzz, you know, and all of that. And I think it's a good yarn for a lot of fun things. I mean, wouldn't that be gorgeous to make a sweater, or maybe you know, scarf and hat, or a beautiful shawl or something like that. There's tons of things that you could make out of this. And my thought after I was looking at it is I think it would make a beautiful light throw to throw on, like, because in my guest room I like to keep extra blankets in there, and I think this would be absolutely gorgeous, you know. You know, Mary, I probably could open up a yarn store, but I don't want the hassle. I'm going to be 63 on my birthday next week. My birthday's February 12th. I'm going to be 63, and I just don't want to have, that's part of the reason I went ahead and closed my Etsy shop. I just don't want the hassle. I want to have some fun with yarn and not feel like I have to make things or have to sell things. Anyway, I love this yarn. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Yarnspirations, Karen, Colorama Halo, phasing, perfect phasing. Isn't that gorgeous? I just think it's beautiful yarn. They had lots of different colors, but I was really drawn to this one. I believe if you buy this at regular price, it's $14.99 a cake. But you are getting 8 ounces. I believe that's what I read on here. Let's check again. Yes, 8 ounces or 481 yards. That's a lot of yarn. And it's a really nice sized cake. It says that it is a super or a bulky, not super bulky, 5, but to be honest with you, it feels like a regular 4 to me. You can see there. You know, but they probably did that because of the fuzz. And you know, within the measurements of all the different measurements of yarn, there is a little bit of wiggle room. You know, because sometimes you'll get a 4 and it feels just like a chunky 5. And then sometimes you'll get a chunky 5 and it doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like a 4. And that's why I'm always saying, oh, it's probably a 4.5, you know, because it's a little thicker, but it's got the fuzz, so it's not quite a 5, you know. And I do that with lightweight 3, which is DK weight also. They'll say it's a DK weight or a light 3, and I'm like, nah, that's a little thicker. I think it's a, 3.5, and that's just me. It's not even a real size, those half sizes. I just say that because it gives you an idea that it's a little thicker than what they're saying, or a little thinner than what they're saying. But anyway, I thought you would like to see these because they're just gorgeous. And I did see I think it was Michael's. They have buy 2, get 1 free right now. I think I saw that in my email. I'm going to set these over here. Yes, I'll pick them up when we're done. I am desperately trying to keep my yarn room clean. Alrighty. So, let's talk about what we did this week at Posh Pooch Designs. Now, just a reminder, because every week I get asked the same question. How do we find the patterns that you talked about on your website? Okay? Or not my website, my YouTube channel. And how you find them is the patterns that I talk about on each week on Coffee and Crochet with Sara. I put those links underneath this video. All you have to do is go underneath the video in that description box and scroll down. You can find the email address there. You can find the patterns that I'm going to talk about. So I usually talk about 2 or 3 videos. And underneath those videos, except for like the this and that video or the live video, they're going to be those pattern links. Okay, so then when you click the link for the video, it takes you to the video. If you want the written pattern for that video, same thing. Underneath that video in the description box is a link that says crochet pattern video or crochet pattern link. And then you just click that link and it'll take you right to the blog that has the pattern written out with all the pictures. Okay, and it's really a lot easier than you think. For instance, I'm going to talk about our hexagon blanket pattern. Okay, so I'm going to pull it out. And we're going to go back to this other camera. And this is what we did for Friday Fun Day. And it was a little bit more of a longer video than what I usually do because I wanted to show you how to make the hexagon that we're using as well as the half hexagon that we used on the sides. Now, on the bottom of it, we didn't because we wanted it to stay this bumpy. Okay? All right, so, and this is the yarn that we used for this. It's called Premier Sweet Roll Frosty. And I believe it's Slushy is the color. Let me look again. They write these so tiny. There it is. Yeah, Slushy. Right there in white and big black letters. It's called Slushy. And it kind of looks like when you get a Slushy, okay? And you're going to need, I think, 3 to make this blanket size. And I can't remember the size. But anyway, this is our hexagon blanket, okay? I show you how to make the hexagon, how to make the half hexagon, and how I put them together. Now, I love this because it's so bright and colorful. Now, I'm telling you about this. So, where's the link for the video? It's underneath this video that we're watching right now. So, after the video, after today's live video, go underneath the video, and you'll see where it says hexagon blanket video link. Then you click that video link. That takes you to the video that I did. But if you want the written pattern, underneath that video, in that description box, will be a link that says crochet pattern link. And you click that link and it takes you to the blog with all the pictures and the pattern written out. And a lot of information because a lot of times when I'm doing a video, I might forget to say something. And you can find all, even if you don't read patterns, you can get lots of information just by going to the blog, okay? But anyway, this is our hexagon blanket. And it's really a lot easier than you think. And although I used a specific yarn, this is a great scrap happy project because you can just sit and make a bunch of hexagons, then make a bunch of half hexagons, and then when you feel like it, put them together. And then you can make it as big as you want to. Add, this one I think is 27 regular hexagons and 6 half hexagons. Okay, and these are 6-inch hexagons. And of course the half ones are 6 by 3 because they're only, 3 inches. And so you can do as many as you want, make it as big as you want, use whatever medium weight number for yarns that you want. And again, I get this question all the time, can I make it out of cotton? We live in a warmer climate. Yes, you can always substitute for another fiber, just make sure you use the same weight of yarn. In other words, if you want to make this in wool, you can. Just use a medium number 4 weight yarn. Okay? And I really love this. I think it's beautiful. And it is, it's just so much easier than you think. I guess what I'm trying to say. And, and I really, is one of those patterns I just really enjoyed putting together. Okay? I'm going to set that over there. The other thing that we did is this beautiful shawl that's behind me. This is called Love in the Rain. And I loved calling it that. I'm showing you the back because I want you to see the hearts. I'm going to take it off of her though, so don't panic. Come here. Don't want her to fall down. She falls sometimes. She's like me. Okay. There we go. Leave her dress on. All right, so we're going to come over here to this other camera. All right, so here is the, this is the headband that we did, the sweet bow headband. I used the same yarn, okay? And the reason I want you to see it is because I really want you to see the yarn. This is the swatch that we did here. I've got that here also. And then this is the yarn that I used. This is Premier Marl. The color is called Quartz or Red Quartz Marl. And it's a really neat yarn because you can see, I'm putting it up close. I want you to see those colors of pinks in there. It's roses and pinks and white with a gray background. And it's basically a solid and a ombre. Oh, my pin fell off. I'll set that up there. Okay. And so I'm going to lay this out so you can see the hearts. And this is one of those ones I really had a, oh, I've got it pinned from being on the mannequin. I always call her a womanikin. All right, so I want you to see this. I'm going to move this also just because it's in the way. There we go. All right, so you can see those hearts. And the rest is like a, what I call a lattice stitch. And I called it Love in the Rain because we've got gray, and then we go into a soft pink, and to that rose color, and then this has got white in it, and it goes back. And so it's like a gray yarn twisted with an ombre pink and rose yarn. It's so beautiful. And it really doesn't do it justice on camera at all. You've got to really see this up close. But what I was going to say is Hobby Lobby has a yarn that looks just like this. Color and everything. And I was just, I was in Hobby Lobby because I was getting another yarn that was similar to this. It's actually the one that we did for the scarf, the Monday morning scarf. It is white with blues and greens in ombre. And I thought, that looks a lot like the yarn I have at home. So when I went back in there, I looked and they have it. It looks exactly like the same yarn. And the quality is just the same, soft and everything. But it looks difficult, but it really is quite easy because all you're doing is gradually moving up. And then at the top of the heart is 2 4 double crochet clusters to form the bumps of the heart. And then we just go into this lattice work. It's just beautiful. And it is a really long rectangle. And I believe the measurements across are 24 inches. And then the width of it is, I want to say 46 or 48 inches. I can't remember. But you can click the link underneath this video and go to the video of this. And you can get those measurements. All right. Now, something else I wanted to talk about real quick before we go. And it's almost time. But I get questions all the time. Where are the multiples? Okay. And just to be clear, I don't always put the multiples of a pattern on there. I don't always work them out that way. And so not all of my patterns are going to have multiples. Most of them do. I think this heart one actually does, because you're basically, chaining 6 and then the 7th. So it's multiples of 7 plus what it takes on the edges. Okay, but if the multiple's not there, a lot of times I just give you the measurements so that you can work it out yourself. Okay, because I just don't do them every single pattern. I don't. Just FYI, because I get questions about it all the time, and depending on the stitches and the pattern, and if I want it to be a specific size, I just don't always put them in there. And but they're relatively easy to figure out. You know, I mean, especially if it's a set pattern like this heart one. You know, you'll know that after like the second row how easy it is to figure that kind of stuff out. Anyway, I'm trying to think if there's something else I wanted to, oh yes, I am so excited. This Friday is the February ornament of the month, and I'm so excited about it. It turned out so cute and so silly, and it is kind of Valentine-y, but not. It's kind of Christmassy too, and so which is kind of what I'm trying to do with our ornament of the month. Yes, they're ornaments. You can always hang them on a Christmas tree, but and just by making it Christmassy, adding a red ribbon or some Christmas buttons or beads or something. But this one is a little bit different and it's fun, and that's the way I want them to be each month. I want them to be different. I want them to be fun, and I don't want you to think they have to be used for Christmas, because you can decorate with them any time of year, of course. But I lost my train of thought. But anyway, this Friday will be our February ornament of the month. Then, a week from this Friday, we're going to do our mystery crochet along. I think you'll like it this time. It's different than what we've done in the past for our mystery crochet along. But it was a request by a lady. So well, if you pay YouTube to not see my ads, I don't get paid. That's the question, okay? And what I always tell people about the ads is I have the ads so that you don't have to pay to see my videos, okay? And because a lot of people have these new membership-only YouTube channels, and I don't want to do that. I want to keep it free for you. So what I say is, if an ad comes on, run go potty, or run go fill up your coffee cup, or watch the ad, because the ads are what keeps it free for you, and not for me, but for you. And then I get a little bit of money that helps pay for shipping and things that I need to run this channel, because it's not free. I have microphones and speakers and equipment, screens, cameras, lights, all kinds of things that have to be paid for. And so that little bit I get from YouTube helps pay for those kinds of things. So that's my take on ads. You can pay YouTube to not see them, but I'd rather you just watch them, and then I can get paid so that I can keep going. That's the whole point of getting monetized. And I don't want you to have to pay for a special members only YouTube channel. I want everybody to see what we're doing, because I want everybody to crochet and love yarn like I do. So, it's up to you, of course, but that's my take on it. And like I said, if you don't like the ads, run go grab a granola bar or a Pop-Tart or something and come back, because they're really very short. So, and that's part of the reason that we made the intro at the beginning of our video, or my video, just a little bit longer, because when you do the live video, a lot of times they'll show a ad right at the beginning, and so you'll miss 30 seconds of it. And I thought, I'll just make it just a little bit longer. Then it's kind of fun, and then you don't miss the funness, and the and you can run, go get a cup of coffee, fill up your cup while you. So anyway, when you're watching this live, it's different than when you're watching it after it's been processed and you're watching it on the later. When you watch it later, the ad plays first and then the intro. But when you're watching it live, usually the ad plays like on top of the intro. It's kind of the way it works. And it's okay, you know. Like I said, just ignore the ad, you know, and go fill up your coffee cup or get another Diet Coke or something and grab a snack, get a donut or some popcorn or something, you know, and then just sit down and have some fun. And I know they're annoying, but like I said, it helps pay for the things that I need in order to do this. And free, you know, it helps pay for yarn and shipping, you know, things like that. And just FYI, I closed my Etsy shop. Like I said, that's done. I'm not an affiliate for Premier Yarn anymore. I love doing it, but they're changing it, and so all of my links for Premier Yarn are dead because they went with a different company that does the links, and I would have to go back through all of those videos and all of those blogs and everything anywhere where I posted the link for my Premier affiliate and change it. And I just don't have the heart or the time to do that. And so I just said, you know, it's okay. I don't really need it. It was fun. I love Premier Yarn. I will still love Premier Yarn. And that won't change because I love their yarn. I'll still order from them, you know, and I order from Hirschner's. I order from Mary Maxim. I stopped ordering from Joann's, but they're gone. So I didn't like their customer service, but I don't want to talk about that since they're gone. But I have ordered from Michael's, but I would rather go across town and just go to Michael's. But there are other places. I know people have been asking me this. Where in the world can we go now that Joann's is gone? Okay, of course there's Hobby Lobby, but you also have to kind of be tricky on what you do. I go to Ollie's, and if you get the ads from Ollie to your email, when you open it up, it'll say if it has yarn or not. But sometimes they do and they don't tell you. And so about once a month, I swing by Ollie's, and they've had some really neat yarn bargains. Another place that I've gotten yarn bargains is, well, actually not yarn bargains, but yarn kits. I've gotten those at Ollie's. I've also gotten them at Aldi, A-D-L-I. Now, the Europe stores have, at Aldi's has yarn, but the American stores do not. But also, you just have to kind of search, you know. And I love Michael's, and I loved Michael's when we lived in Parker. It was real close to it was like a couple miles from my house. Here it's clear across town. And I have to tell you, I have emailed Michael's several times asking them to put a Michael's store on this side of Oklahoma City. But I think because this is where Hobby Lobby is, if you drive down certain roads, miles and miles and miles of buildings of Hobby Lobby, they're just huge. I mean, you can't find anyone probably in the Oklahoma City area that doesn't work for Hobby Lobby, or at least have a family member that does. I mean, my daughter's father-in-law, my daughter's brother-in-law, my daughter was a designer at Hobby Lobby for a while, designed crochet patterns and stuff like that. And so tons of people have worked there and do work there. As a matter of fact, I told my husband, I said, because he's retiring the 1st of May, and I told him, I said, go work for Hobby Lobby for a couple hours a day, you know. Give me a discount on yarn. Because I love to buy their beads, my beads there. I love to buy buttons. Now, there's 2 Walmarts that are within a few miles of my house. Neither one of them have very good yarn selection. Now, the Walmart that is clear on the other side of town has a magnificent yarn selection, but it's not kept up very well because it gets picked over because it's hard to find, you know, good yarn. And so you just have to kind of, I've never heard of Meyer, is that what it is? I've never heard of that one. I have to check into it. But the one thing I do want to tell you is you have to be really careful. I used to buy yarn on eBay, but I don't do it anymore because I got a box one time that smelled like cat pee-pee, and I'm like, no, not doing that. Now, the Target, that reminds me that you said that. I noticed Repeat Crafter Me, I know y'all know her. She in she's in I think Northern California, if I'm right. Target is doing a test to see if people will buy yarn from them. And so I told her, I said, tell them yes. And she went back in and checked, and the whole end cap was like empty. And they had some of the big, I think it was burnout yarn, the big cakes and some other things on an end cap, and it just got wiped out. And so I told her, I said, tell them we want Target to carry yarn. I have it at Target that's like right up the street from me, you know. And I saw that, and so I had, my doctor's office is like right behind that Target. And so I was going to swing by there, and then I read that they didn't have it. It was only in California stores. And so so everybody go tell Target you want them to have yarn in their stores, okay? They have just an itty bitty little craft aisle. It doesn't really have anything. And I think that it would do them good if they would get a craft aisle or two, you know. Especially with Joann's being gone, you know, because Joann's just had everything, you know, they just had everything. And I went there more when I lived in Colorado because there was one that wasn't that far, but the Joann's was clear across the other side of town. And I don't know why all of these are over there other than the fact that all the warehouses for Hobby Lobby are here. And I love Hobby Lobby. I shop there all the time. But I think that, you know, everybody go tell Target, yes, we want yarn. And I bet they'll do it. I bet they will. You know, even if they didn't have like a big yarn section, but if they got some of the great end caps of new yarns, because think about this, we can't find Red Heart anywhere unless we order online. We can't find a lot of this yarn anywhere unless we order online. And we want to fill the yarn, you know, and I've been disappointed many times by ordering yarn, and you know, nothing against Hirschner's or Mary Maxim, and there's one other one that I order from occasionally also. There's 3. Can't remember the other one. And I look online, I'm like, oh, that is awesome yarn. It comes in and it's a lot thinner than I anticipated, or the skeins are smaller. And some of that's my fault because I didn't read all of it. You know, I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. Click, click, click and order it, you know. I've been known to do that. You know, and don't forget, you know, Dollar Tree, you know, they've had some yarn in there from time to time too. So you just have to be real creative. Walmart does have yarn on their website that they don't carry in store also. So that's another choice, you know. But I just, you know, yeah, you can order yarn from eBay, you can order from Amazon and stuff and all these places, but it's so much nicer when you can go in and look at it and feel it and smell it. And I know that sounds funny, but Bag A Day will tell you, Crystal from Bag A Day Crochet, she will tell you she smells the yarn because there are certain chemicals in there that bother her. And I've bought yarn before that wasn't wool. And then all of a sudden I'm all red and rashy. And that has to do with the oils and stuff that they use on the machines that wind the yarn. It gets, you know, that residue gets on the yarn. And sometimes, especially cottons, they'll put a sizing on it. You know, so that's why I say, you know, stop by Ollie's from time to time. Go to Aldi, check their, what they call aisle of shame for yarn kits. And the Valentine ones were already gone. In the ad, they showed some Valentine crochet kits, but they were already gone. This Aldi here, it gets, I mean, there's not an Aldi close by, and it just gets packed. And I went in there Friday. A week ago Thursday. Right after the storm. Might have been Friday. I can't remember. But I went into my doctor's for my doctor's appointment. Then I went to Aldi to pick up some fruits and stuff. Their shelves were empty because the people shop there so much they can't keep up with the demand because there isn't another Aldi store. And I love to buy my fruits and vegetables there because they're inexpensive. And that aisle of shame is just fun stuff. They just get in all kinds of odd different things. But they've been getting in craft and crochet kits lately. And I buy them sometimes. And sometimes I give them away to you guys. the Halloween ones, that I got those at Aldi. So anyway, it's a little challenging right now to find the yarns that we're looking for. And I know that. And I know a lot of us were uncomfortable with ordering online. We want to see it. We want to touch it. You know, we want to make sure it's what we're looking for, you know. And it's also hard with colors. You know, what you see on one screen is different than another screen. And I can tell you that just by looking at these two right here, because I've got two screens going. And one of them I'm more pinker than the other. And you say, well, that's no big deal. But when you're looking at yarn, it is. If you're looking for specific colors, you know. And so that's what kind of makes it hard. And I know there's other places out there that carry yarn, just not any close to me. Oh, why do they call it the Isle of Shame? It's because it's just fun, it's fun stuff. It's not food. It's just, you know, sometimes they'll get in shoes or sweaters or jammies or Christmas ornaments. It's just fun stuff. It's not anything that's needed. There, and I didn't know it was called that, and I was online and I saw this group. It said, you like this post from Aldi Isle of Shame. I'm like, what does that mean? What did I like? So I clicked on the group and I went in and I was like, oh, it's people that are shopping at Aldi and talking about the things that they bought on the Isle of Shame. And a lot of people will say, well, I got this on clearance. The Aldi that I go to never puts anything on clearance because there's nothing left. I'm telling you, they need to build another Aldi's close by. They really do. And a big Walmart super center that's huge. These are both really small Walmarts that are by me. And that's why they don't have a lot of yarn. But I mean, I do love Hobby Lobby yarns, but they've really cut back also. And they don't carry hardly anything that's not their brand. And I understand that, but, you know, I used to love the days when I could go in to Walmart and they had, you know, when I worked at Walmart, I'm going to tell you, this was like 25 years ago. One of the times that I worked at 3 different Walmarts because we moved 3 times. I started in Las Vegas, then I went to Rapid City, South Dakota because we were in the Air Force. And then when we retired and moved back to Tulsa, I worked at the Tulsa Walmart. All 3 of those Walmarts had enormous yarn walls, bigger than mine. And probably the majority of it was Red Heart Super Saver. And they had so many colors and shades. And I loved it. I loved working there because I've always crocheted, you know. And then later I moved over to Soft Lines, which is ladies department, kids departments. And then then they moved me to Health and Beauty Aids at the last store that I worked at. I managed that. But I have always loved crochet. I've always loved Red Heart Yarns. And the neat thing is, you know, Red Heart Yarn is owned by Yarnspirations now. And I really believe that the Red Heart yarns are a lot softer than they used to be. And so, I mean, I still really love Red Heart yarns, you know. And I miss the fact that we can't go to Walmart and find, you know, a large selection of Red Heart yarn. And I know there's a lot of other yarns out there too. I wish they would carry a lot of the premier yarns as well. I know Walmart, they carry the puzzle yarn, and Hobby Lobby used to carry some, but they just don't anymore, and it's just sad. And yarn, I mean, those of us who crochet, it's kind of a challenge, you know. And so many of the small yarn stores have closed. There were several that I used to go to with my daughter when I would come home and visit from Parker, Colorado. I would come home and visit, and we'd hit these different yarn stores. And there was a really neat one in Castle Rock that closed. That's actually where I got my shelving from, was from the lady that was closing her yarn store. Actually, Marley Bird was going to buy them, and then she told me Marley was moving to Chicago because she used to live in Aurora, Colorado, and she told me about them, and she'd already paid for them, so I paid Marley, and then I went and picked them up, and I love them. I bought 3. I gave one to my son, and then I painted them teal. You can see they're teal back there. But anyway, and then there was also a yarn store right there in Parker, and we moved in, and then it closed. I was like, you know, so like I said, it's just a challenge to find yarn right now, and it's silly. Hobby Lobby has the Red Heart Scrubby yarn. I saw it there last week. They have an end cap that on the back of the yarn that is all scrubby yarn. They do have the Red Heart Scrubby, and they also have their couple kinds of scrubbies. And then they also had one that was different. What was the name of the other one? I think it was from Hirschner's, actually. Can't remember. Yeah, you can order yarn from Walmart online. They do have some good bargains. but it's really limited in what they have. So, but yeah, you just gotta, you know. I ordered some glow-in-the-dark yarn, and it smelled terrible. It was expensive, and I had to throw it away. It was terrible. It smelled horrible. It was one of these things where it was so strong that it burned my eyes. When I opened up the bag, it was in a plastic bag, and I opened up the bag, and it was so strong it burnt my eyes. Not burnt my eyes, but it burned, you know, in my eyes. So, anyway. Where do you live at, Victoria? You said your Target has yarn. Where do you live at? Because I want this Target. It's just like right up the street from me. Right? I mean, 2 miles where my doctor's office is where Target is. My doctor's office is like right behind. And I want them to get yarn. You know, when I go to Walmart, I go at 9 o'clock in the morning, 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday. Sometimes Friday morning. Because, yeah. Okay, where do you guys live that you saw Target have yarn? That makes me want to run up there right now. I think I will. Are you in a colder area or a warmer area? Yeah, it's gonna take time to roll it out, I'm sure. But I wish they would. I really, really do. I tried to figure out if Target had it online or not, but every time it said Target and then online, it would take me somewhere else, not to Target. And so I didn't want to do that because it sounded too fishy. You have to be careful. Okay, so anyway, we are way past our 30-minute deadline, but I know yarn is so, so important, and it's fun to talk about. So, yeah, those of you who have Targets, go check them out and let me know if you've got yarn at your Targets, okay? I want to know. Yes, Walmart has the bloom in the puzzle. That's right, it has the bloom. You're in Denver? Oh, man. I used to live in Parker. All righty, well, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for being with me today. It's been so much fun talking about yarn. All righty, bye-bye, everybody.